with representatives of the fintech activities for this short session.
Maybe if I may, so we can start and do that as quickly as possible, because I understand that we have to speed up. So what I'm going to do is just introduce myself. So I'm the chairman for the Finance Innovation Cluster in France, and we are part of the Europrice organization. And what I want to say, just after what was said, is that this cluster is designed to address, in fact, from our perspective, the three key issues that our society is facing. We talked about environmental issues, we talked about societal issues, and we have to deal with that through the help of technology. And this is what the cluster is trying to do, is to put all the actors together. We have 600 members in France. We are happy to receive any interested party outside France to work with us, to anticipate the trends that affect the entire finance community through banks, insurance, real estate, asset management, and the like. And what we're trying to do with the team is to connect, in fact, this community and talk about not only technology, not only social issues, but also environmental issues. And we believe, as an organization, part of Europrice, as I said, that the actors, and from my perspective, need to work together much more than in the past if we want to address the issues that we're all facing. And the speed of this needs to increase, and our ability to have big actors, banks, insurance, and all those players that are very important in the market to work with startups. And the idea of this session is just to introduce to you what we believe are good examples of people that are trying to make the world different with good ideas, stamina, energy. Of course, they are to some extent a little bit challenging the system, but I think it's good to have them doing this. So my job as the chairman of the cluster is just to ensure that this dialogue and this action is taking place at the right speed, and I think speed is very important. But the last point is that, from my perspective, the principle of competition that has driven where we are at this point in this world need to be rebalanced by a principle of cooperation that we have probably lost in terms of action. And I think what the cluster is trying to do is a good example of that. So I leave them to just present what they're trying to achieve. So the first speaker will be, if I remember, Pierre from the Libio startup. He will explain to you as a CEO what he's trying to do with all the actors in the finance system. And then we'll have Tanguy Tofu, that is CEO of Descartes Underwriting, that will explain to us what he's trying to achieve. So I'll give you the mic now. Thanks.
Many thanks, Bernard, and hi, everybody. So my name is Pierre, and I'm the CEO of Libio. So I will explain 4 things today. I will explain what is Libio first, then I will explain our markets, I will explain what is Libio as a company, and then the dynamics post-COVID, because it is one of the topics today. So Libio is a tool for SMEs, so for companies from 5 to 50 employees, to help them in a daily basis to easily manage their finances. So basically, as a business owner or as a CFO, what you have to deal with every day with your company is managing paper, and for instance, paper invoices. So basically, you will receive every day invoices from your suppliers. You will store them in filing cabinets. Then you will put beautiful stamps like ready to be paid or manually input in the accounting system. And then you will go to your bank account, or you will write a check to pay your supplier, and then you will again input data manually in your accounting system and your financial management system. So it is an example of the tasks, the manual tasks that business owners and CFOs have to repeat every day, and it represents a huge waste of time, and so this is what Libio addresses. So in a nutshell, Libio digitizes the whole financial process companies have to go through every day. So in 3 steps, companies can digitize invoices they receive with Libio. So we will extract from the supplier invoices, for instance, the amount of the bill, the name of the supplier. Then with Libio, we enable companies to create workflows to validate the principle of the payment. And then we enable the companies to pay their invoices without having to write a check manually or without connecting to the bank system, as we are a company with a banking license. And so the second point, our market, we are evolving in the accounts payable market, which is a market which is growing fast today in Europe, but which is a bit more mature in the US, with names like Bill.com or AvidXchange, to name a few. And so it's a very exciting space with a very strong growth and huge volumes. It's estimated to be around $60 billion of revenues just from, I would say, from the subscription revenues, the convenience you can bring to companies. So excluding all the upsell you can benefit from with, for instance, short-term financing services. As a company today, Libio is a team of 30 people, but a year ago we were 4 only. We raised 2 fundraisings with a French and a British venture capital fund. And we were very happy to be elected FinTech of the Year back in December. Today we only operate in France, but we enable companies to make payments outside France in all countries where IBANs are located. And we plan to export our solution to other European countries in a very near future. And just to maybe end up, I wanted to speak about the current dynamics post-COVID. Actually, we just started the business a couple of months before the COVID crisis. And what we have witnessed is a huge boom in the demand. And it's very basic what we address here. Companies used to deal with filling cabinets and paper invoices, and now, even from their homes, they need to be able to manage their companies, and this is basically what we do. So we think that COVID is a big catalyst for these changes in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Bernard. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the CEO and one of the 3 co-founders of Descartes Underwriting. We are focusing on designing and underwriting innovative insurance solutions in the face of climate change. So we are working with governments, typically on the Pacific Islands, in Africa, and we are working with large corporations across the world. If I start with the impact of COVID-19 on the insurance sector, we can expect losses at around 75 up to 100 billion USD losses. So it's a big market hit. If you compare that with other big market events like Katrina, the Paradise claim with the wildfires in California, or Harvey, Irma, Maria, so big hurricanes in the US, it's 4 to 5 times larger. So it's something that is really major for the insurance sector. The good news is that the insurance sector is very robust, very resilient, and after each big crisis, there were plenty of innovations. So I'm very optimistic about what may pop up in the next months and years. Typically, after the Gulf War, there were plenty of new policies around war covers. After the World Trade Center attack, there were plenty of terrorism policies that were sold on the market. And today, more than 50% of SMEs in the US have a terrorism policy. So it means that there's also a new market for many players. And from our point of view, COVID-19 is definitely a catalyst. So I'm not saying it's good news. We are facing a big social crisis, so I don't want to look happy, but definitely in terms of innovation, it's a catalyst. And we have seen that through the digitized processes within large organizations. But in the insurance world, we see that there are plenty of covers that are not fit for purpose. So typically, we see that to cover pandemics, the current product offering is not fit for purpose. We see that the current products are not transparent. So there is a big debate about the fact that epidemics were covered, but not pandemics. So for, let's say, human beings, the definition is definitely not clear. So our role is really to come up with new products that are completely bespoke, that provide a fast claim payment. So we tend to pay claims within a few hours. And this is the case today. We have a claim in Mexico. There is a big hurricane called Delta that has just hit Cancun. So we have a payout that will be triggered in the next hours. So this is something that I would say the COVID-19 is really something that will speed up innovation in the insurance sector. And the good news is that venture capital and private equity has not been dampened. So their spirits have not been dampened by the current crisis. So we have been able to raise 18.5 million USD last month, and we expect to raise much more in the next 12 to 18 months. So I really believe in new innovative solutions that are related to artificial intelligence. So we are using lots of neural networks and machine learning. I really believe in new data sources. So we are using lots of satellite imagery. We are incubated by European Space Agency. Lots of new data sources from IoT devices, from the Internet of Things. So I'm really confident about the fact that we are about to make insurance products much more aligned with customers' expectation, and we will be able to bridge this gap. If we take a step back today, due to climate change, you know that it's not only about global warming, it's really about an increase in the frequency of weather anomalies. We can see that, for example, the number of floods, heat waves, and many different perils have increased significantly. So the number of losses related to uninsured clients are growing faster than losses related to insured clients. So definitely there is a big market gap which is actually widening with the current climate crisis. So to conclude and to see the glass half full rather than half empty, I think the crisis is for us, for insurtech players, a chance to really modernize the sector and to make the economy more resilient. So that's really our role, and you can count on us.
Thank you very much. So to conclude quickly, my message to the audience is be confident in the ability of the French environment to produce new ideas, new startups, new fintech, new ability to address those issues. And I insist on that. Cooperating with everyone is probably the source of the solution first. And the three issues that we have to resolve is environment, societal, and the use of technology. I think in Europe, and France is part of Europe, we have to speed up. Because if you look at the US, we talked about the ESG just before. This will be a fierce battle, and it's a sovereignty issue from my perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.